Andrew McCabe, according to FBI's own investigators, was less than truthful under oath. The same thing that other folks like Michael Flynn and George Papadopoulos and Rick Gates are currently being charged for. So you would expect that Andrew McCabe would be treated the same under the law.
Wow. Will that happen? That from Texas Republican John Ratcliffe after a watchdog report finding McCabe repeatedly lied to cover up leaks to the media. Texas Congressman John Ratcliffe, member of the Judiciary Committee, with me now, also former U.S. Attorney. How you doing, sir? And welcome back to America's Newsroom.
Hey, Bill.
I know the treatment you want him to get. Will he get it?
I think he will. If I were going to make a prediction, I would expect there to be a criminal referral in this matter, and I would expect that Andrew McCabe will be facing the same types of charges that Michael Flynn, Rick Gates, and George Papadopoulos are facing. I certainly am of the opinion that he should be, based on the Inspector General's report. Again, this is the Department of Justice investigating itself and finding misconduct on not one, not two, not three, but four different occasions, some of those under oath, that I believe, even though I'm not in the business of prosecuting people anymore, I believe in this case will be a prosecutable crime.
Well, that was a story that lived for about 2 hours on Friday afternoon that just got swallowed up by everything else. There's another story out today. You've requested the memos, the conversations James Comey says he held or kept after his conversation with President Trump. Now, will you get those memos unredacted today? We
better. What Jim Comey said last night to the American people was that those memos were unclassified. They better be unclassified because he handed them to a professor at Columbia University who shared them with a New York Times reporter. Up to this point, the Department of Justice has said that law professors and reporters can see those, but members of Congress, including the chairman of the Intelligence Committee and the Judiciary Committee with security clearances, haven't been able to see them. So I think that's an outrageously untenable position. We've demanded that we see them, and I think that we will get to see them. And I think it's really important, Bill. The one member of Congress that I know who has seen them without sharing the contents has told me that they would be Exhibit A in Donald Trump's defense to any charges against collusion with the Russians.
Aren't they available in the book? Weren't they apparent in the ABC interview last night?
Well, again, now Jim Comey is talking about them and disclosing those to the American people. The fact that members of Congress with oversight responsibility have not had the opportunity to see them, I think, is something that needs to be rectified, and we're not happy about it, and I expect that we'll get to see them hopefully by the close of business today, but certainly very soon.
Think of that comment and the fact that we know that his wife voted for Hillary Clinton. I don't know if that's important to you or not. He says 4 of his 5 children voted for Hillary Clinton as well. I don't know if that's relevant or not. What do you think as you put that together?
Well, I think like a lot of Americans watching last night, from the very first meeting, I think it was Jim Comey was so convinced that Donald Trump was a liar, untethered from the truth, and morally unfit to be president. I can see why Jim Comey really felt like he had no choice but to resign as the FBI director. Oh, wait. He didn't resign. Despite all of the terrible things that he related in that interview last night, he never resigned. And in fact, when he was fired, he expressed shock and disappointment at that. So I found that to be the one humorous takeaway in what was otherwise a very sad televised therapy session for the former director. I will say this, I'm sure, Bill, this morning that the president is not happy about the interview, but the president's legal team ought to be elated this morning. If you think about it, the FBI director who is in charge of the Russia investigation from August of 2016 to May of 2017, who doesn't have anything good to say about President Trump, the best case that he can make with regard to any illegality or criminality is that it's possible. We don't convict anyone under the criminal standard of it's possible.
Very interesting. John Ratcliffe, thank you for your time. The Texas Republican with us today.